Hello, everyone. I'm Bryan Waters from the QTube, Beaumont for the evening, and I'm joined by. I'm delighted to be joined by. I'm a little bit hesitant here because I can't actually hear anything, but presumably that's because nobody's speaking. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Nicholas Dodd, Bryan Morrell, and Stefan Gordon. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. So without further ado, we're going to crack on because we want to try and maximise, we've made a decision to try and maximise the time for discussion and feedback this evening. So we're going to aim for about an hour. We're going to introduce our 10 finalists one by one, and then we're going to reveal the winner and then a special bonus thing at the very end. So without further ado, I think, Stefan, we can queue up the first of those finalists. Oh, they're saying there's no sound. Can you hear me, guys? Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, Stefan. It's a problem here. Just bear with me a sec. Yeah, we will, but I need to sort this out. We knew something had to go wrong, didn't it? Can you speak again? Sorry, so I can just check the levels.
Testing.
Okay. So let me ask them in the chat.
If they can hear us.
Yeah, can you just say hello and chat and stuff?
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hopefully you can hear us.
Yes. Hopefully the level's good.
I'm just waiting for them to confirm. There's always a slight lag. Okay, it seems like we're okay. Apologies, everybody. We're going to start again with the very first of our finalists. So, yeah, Stefan, sorry, can you cue that up again?
Yeah, okay. His finalist number one, Minash Jira. Let me fire this up. Let me know if you can't see or hear this. It should be okay.
Freebird is in position, sir. Ready to go.
What about Beaumont? He's bloody late.
We picked him up last night, sir. We put him on the red eye from Rio. He's just landed, sir. He's heading straight to the villa. Should be there in half an hour.
Okay.
Okay, there we are. So,
There we
Can
go.
you can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, and
we
Brian's
can
back
hear
as
you.
well.
Yeah, Brian's
Yeah,
had.
sorry about that. My laptop crashed in the middle of all that, so I'm back. So let me just get the.
It's been one of those days, isn't it?
It definitely has. So this is the first one, I'm presuming, still, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
We've just
Okay,
finished.
so what we're going to do, as I think Brian already pointed out, is me and Stefan and then Nicholas will all give our 10 penneth worth. Just a couple of minutes. So this one I thought was really good. The music didn't start until the actual title card, and he didn't do the opening, which I thought I was wondering why that hadn't happened. But generally speaking, some really great music. The use of the twangy guitar at around about 39 seconds, really, really nice. I mean, really adds to that flavour. The bit where I think the guy says Smithers is going in, I'm not sure if that's on the clip that Brian played, but there's a bit where he says Smithers is going in, and there was some lovely underscoring music for that bit that fit really well. Some nice modulations. And I think he did that classic Bond thing. I think it was an E minor to a C to an A7. If it's an E minor, I think it is. The really classic kind of Bondy kind of sequences. End titles, very, very nice use of the horns and trumpets. I did think the drums occasionally sounded a little bit MIDI, a little bit plastic. But apart from that, I thought it was really good. Well done.
Yeah, really similar points from me, actually. I really liked the sort of Bond influenced guitar. Thought it was really nicely done, and the Atmos sort of fit nicely around the voiceover at the start. Thought generally it was nicely constructed. I noted down that perhaps some of the punctuation around 150 got slightly in the way of the voice, but I thought the end musical piece was nicely done. I noted down about the Q-tube dialogue bit sort of being free from music at the end. I felt that was possibly needed to be done.
Yeah.
And the same point that Brian made, I was actually convinced about your use of samples until the drums came in. So to me, sometimes it's like with drums, particularly drums, I mean, other instruments as well, but I think drums sometimes give the game away a little bit, and I felt that was sort of pulled it back a bit. But overall, I thought it was really nicely done with some really nice sort of classic Bond touches to it. So well done.
Yes. Hello, Manesh. Excuse me. I thought everything was very good, especially the use of the guitars, Brian and Stefan has said. I thought you had some good orchestrational points, and everything seems to lead nicely up to the end titles. But for me, it needed to have a little more punch in the Bond style. At least what came at the end of the end titles, I think for me should have come first. So you're really thrown into the end titles with a punch. Otherwise, you caught all the moments very well.
Excellent, thank you, chaps. That's brilliant. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah. Okay. So finalist number 2, which is
You don't need to pronounce the names actually, because it comes up on the video. So yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right,
Sorry,
okay.
I should have said.
No, that's fine. Right. Okay. Here we go. Let me just share. Hopefully you can see and hear this.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Freebird. See you for cocktails in London.
Signor Smith, piacere di conoscerla. Grazie di essere venuto.
I'm in. Sir, there's something wrong. It's not here.
What do you mean? That's impossible.
I'm afraid we've been played.
Beaumont, I'm sure of the information. What about Smithers, Freebird? Any word? Nothing yet. Still trying.
I'm afraid he didn't make it, sir.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I've got here for this, again, just like the last one, some really nice, atypical Bond music over the usual Bond chords. There was a bit of a dodgy bit at 49 seconds. I'm not quite sure we heard that. And if the person who's done this is there or gets to listen to it later, it might be good to zone in on that a little bit. Just a little bit unconvincing, that bit. Nice use of French horns, but there were some trumpets and trombone stabs which sounded a little bit unauthentic. Whether it's the samples or the production, I'm not sure, but just a little bit off. There was a really nice Hans Zimmer style line. A really nice line comes later on. About 120, I thought it got a little bit lost and became a little bit musically unstructured. And on these kind of things, if you lose the plot for just a second, it can like sometimes not work out very well. 131, some actually good use of stabbing brass at that point, and some really nice fast stuff at 149 with a really good dead stop, which was really nice. There was also a really strong string line, a really strong string melody at some point. I think it was about a minute into when we were listening there. Really strong and so Bondy. The main theme at the end, really nice, but possibly on the wrong instrument. You think you've got a cello there. The high string melody was really nice, but the cello was a bit unconvincing, simply because it got a little bit drowned in the mix. I'm not sure if it was a real one or whether it was a sample, but nice idea. But I think the cello alone, a solo cello, would always find problems penetrating the mix. But good piece overall.
Okay, yeah. I noted down the classic Bond style for the opening, which I thought worked really well. I thought the musical construction overall was really well executed. I think for me, whilst the music worked, it did overpower the voice and left the voice sort of struggling for room in places. Always remember that, you know, with voices, they always take priority. I did note down that it could be just the mix, but I think maybe sort of compositionally, maybe sort of stronger sort of punctuation in certain places. I think with the actual sort of title piece, I thought I quite liked that you sort of tipped your hat to the Bond sort of narrative and style, but you sort of wanted to create your own take on it. I did get that feeling. I felt the further we went into the clip, you didn't have as much sort of control of the samples as you did earlier on, and also again similar point about be careful when it comes to drums, because I felt some of the drum samples weren't as strong as some of the other samples, and also the velocity on some of the string samples needed a bit of attention. And I thought I noted down the very last section, the Q-tube section didn't quite come off as it got in the way of the voice, but I thought the opening was very much the strongest point actually of it, and sort of opened it up really nicely. So well done, good stuff.
Excellent, Nicholas.
Yes, I really enjoyed this. I like the style. I thought you had the Bond style really well. The trumpet stabs you always have to be very careful of in Bond. They're very powerful and they can get in the way sometimes. I thought you missed a moment when the narrator said "get out." I thought that should have been marked. I thought the end titles were very good, but perhaps cello is not quite synonymous with Bond, and if you are going to use cello, I think you need to get it sounded like a sample. So if you are going to use cello, you need to use a real cellist. And as Bryan said, it's something that is quite difficult to balance within the Bond genre. If you had solo trumpet or electric guitar, obviously, it would have worked better. It was a very thoughtful Bond end titles, but I did enjoy them. Yes, again, I thought the drum samples perhaps weren't as strong as the very nice string samples you used at the end. I've got to say that. I mean, otherwise really good. That's all I have to say to that. Really enjoyed it.
Excellent, thank you so much. I just want to say before the next one, for the people watching, that I will put links to all of these finalists' entries in the description afterwards, so you'll be able to listen to them in full if you would like to. I think that would be really useful to listen to those with reference to these comments that are being given back. So because of time, we're just playing a snippet here, but I'll put the links below. Stefan, number 3?
Yeah, so finalist number 3. Okay. Go.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Freebird. See you for cocktails in London.
Piacere di conoscerla. Grazie di essere qui.
I'm in. Sir, there's something wrong. It's not here.
What do you mean? That's impossible.
I'm afraid we've been played.
Beaumont, I'm sure of the information. Get out now.
Way ahead of you.
Okay. Again, with this one, number 3, this was really nice. There was some really nice Bond moments. I mean, that very last one we just heard, which I think was the G minor going to E flat and then C. Really, really clever use of the Bond tropes, as we say. 109, not quite as convincing in terms of sophistication of the orchestration. It did go a little bit astray there. There were some really nice bits. There's a couple of bits where the guy says, "Sir, there is something wrong," and then he says, "We've been played." And both of those were a little bit overscored. They just got to be so careful when you're actually getting in the cracks of the dialogue. And those two comments were slightly compromised by the music. Around 2 minutes, some nice French horns, and that really great bliss at 2 minutes 10. That was really a little bit over the top, perhaps, but really good. Nice piece at the end for the credits, but a little bit, occasionally a little bit bitty, a little bit full of different things that didn't quite gel together as one whole consistent end piece. Not quite as consistent in that way. Also, some music was a little bit too loud in places, which I know has come up on some other comments. In the final credits, it was definitely, I think, too loud in comparison to the rest. But that said, some nice touches generally throughout. Well done.
Yeah, I noted down another good piece, particularly at the start. I thought there was some real film music skills at the start of it, particularly with exterior shots. So my thing I noted down was the difference between exterior and interior. So as the clip goes into interior, I thought there was a slight miscalculation in the way the music and the voice connected. So you've got your establishing shot of outside, and then you go in. I felt it sort of slightly miscued. So you slightly overpowered the intro of the voiceover, which was a shame, as the start was really strong. I also noted down the car shots were great, and the vibe using electronic music was well done. Again, I felt you cut off the voice when the voiceover says it's a green light. Could be solved in the mix, but maybe sort of compositionally it could have been altered to allow more space for the voiceover. That was my sort of general feel. I thought the hit point with the gun was really well done, and the title sequence I really enjoyed, actually. I thought there was some really nice writing, and the manipulation of the samples was good. So the title sequence bit for me was nice, and I really liked it overall. It was just a shame about some of the voiceover, but yeah, do be mindful, I think, of interior and exterior shots and how you sort of construct music to work with those. But well done, good stuff.
Yes, for me, very much what Bryan and Stefan just said in the opening. But I thought the composition was really good. The orchestration, the electronic orchestration and treatment of inside-outside scenes will just improve the more you do it. For me, the end titles was very good indeed, and that led on nicely to. When it was over, the very end we think it was Q-tube. For me, this should have been marked in some way. The end title seemed to need it to propel through, and also the opening. I hadn't noted that the opening, very top of the film, wasn't scored, and I think this was a missed opportunity. I think you need to establish your tonal palette as quickly as you can, even though it may be just a couple of notes or an effect, and then move into the description of backing the film. And the end titles was really good. Again, I think the Q-tube, we think it was Q-tube, missed a good opportunity there, but otherwise great.
Lovely, thank you so much. Stefan?
Yeah, number 4. Here we go.
Confirm your position.
Just like a wave on a shore, I can't find you anymore. What are you looking for? You're already gone. From taking one glance at me to begging down on my knees. You never were mine. Fate had its time and whispered to me.
Okay, so this one, I thought this was one of the few that actually did the intro, which was really good. The person actually scored the intro, which is really nice. There was nice use of something we call the sci-fi chord change, which for anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's basically in this case a G minor going to a C, which has got this kind of slight feeling of wonderment, and that's often something that you find in films like this. So really well done on that one. I thought the piano line around 28 seconds was a nice idea, but it was a little bit underwhelming at some points. It was a little bit, didn't quite hit the spot. Probably not finessed enough as it needed to be. Some nice orchestration along the way. 206, some really nice harmonies leading into the final credits. Again, there was a nice little jazz piano bit, which I'm not sure we heard there, but a nice jazz piano bit with some accompanying brass syncopations. And again, the combination of the two was a little bit unconvincing. The song I thought was excellent, and kudos for doing a song. And I don't know if the composer is the singer, but I thought
she is. Yeah.
Right. Well, I thought that was really good. I thought that was spot on. Very Bondy. Probably didn't hit the point as quickly as it should have done. It seemed to meander around the verse for a long time when I heard the full version. But honestly, well done for doing that. And I think this was definitely an excellent submission.
Yep. Really good work as well. I really enjoyed this. I liked the start, and I also liked how you dropped the music to allow the voice to come in. Thought perhaps again maybe a bit of a theme for me, but the percussion samples needed a bit more sort of work in terms of the production of them. But overall really well punctuated, and as particularly you observed the drops around 108 that I noticed, and you created a lot of relevant musical drama. I think that was a key thing that really matched the images, so and done with quite a lot of skill. Very Bond-esque. The hit points, as we see, the gun was really well done. But as Bryan pointed out, I mean, to go that one step further by using vocals was great, because I thought the vocals was the performance of it was great, and the capture of it was also really good. And then also you have to keep in mind about the lyrical content. So listening to the lyrics as well, which I really enjoyed. Felt the drums in that track again, because there were so many of the strong points about the track, and I could sort of thought the drums just needed that little bit more work. But the film composing skills are absolutely evident with this piece, so really well done. Nice piece. Thank you.
Yes, again, I think, well, I know Bryan and Stefan have covered much what I feel about that. Very nice orchestration. In the opening, I felt if you listen to a lot of a Bond film, which obviously you have, you'll probably notice that the strings aren't used as liberally as you did in the opening. I mean, I think it was an excellent idea and all the voicings were really nice, but I think it should have been driven less by strings, although they were very good samples. Well, that was the only thing in the opening for me, and if that was the only thing, I think that's really good going. I mean, the end titles, the song was really good, and you have a fantastic voice, just perfect for this. It was wonderfully constructed, lovely melody. When I stopped thinking about critiquing, and I just enjoyed it, and I just enjoyed that song, I knew it was just bang on. The only thing I would say, it was so good that the overuse of the Barry-esque brass rhythm at the beginning slightly jolted me out of things. And when as soon as I heard the first line of the song, I thought, wow, this should have come much sooner. So we should have had more. But really, that was the only thing for me. And very well done for scoring the. I think it was very important to score that opening frame, and you did that. So well done. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so finalist number 5.
Yeah. By the way, before you play that, I just want to let everybody know that they might be interested to know that we did this on an anonymous basis. That's why they've got numbers, not names. And one of the reasons, well, I can be upfront, can't I? About one of the reasons was that obviously Bryan and Stefan teach composers, and there was always the chance that one or more of their students would participate, and so we didn't want them to be biased. We didn't want them to know whose music they were listening to, so we did it on this anonymous basis. I just thought that might be an interesting insight for people. So yeah, let's listen to number, what is it, 5, yeah?
Number 5, yeah. Okay, here we go.
Freebird is in position, sir, ready to go.
What about Beaumont? He's bloody late.
We picked him up last night, sir. We put him on the red-eye from Rio. He's just landed, sir. He's heading straight to the villa. Should be there in half an hour.
Very well. Carry on.
Freebird,
It's a green light. Thank you, Control.
Beaumont, we're on.
Okay. Again, I thought this is number 5. I think this is really good. Quite a different approach, kind of harmonically and emotionally. I think very atmospheric and quite apprehensive, fearful kind of vibe with the music. So, which was quite nice to hear, to be honest. It was quite nice to just for a second get away from the Bond thing. I think that was really well done. Some nice changes. I don't think we heard it on the clip, but I'm sure there was either a zither or a balalaika or something, some sample of that ilk in this piece at some point, which was a really nice touch. Really nice touch. The brass Bond motif, that da 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 da, was really great and everything, but it just came from nowhere and it kind of really hit people between the eyes. I think it was a little bit too loud. 140, there was a gliss as well. I'm not sure if we heard that, and that was better. But when the drums come in, it was a little bit unconvincing. a nice take on the credits. Again, not overly Bond-esque. It was mainly just some nice piano bits with some harmonies, but of course it lacked a melody. I think it really needed a strong melody at the end, which it didn't have. But as always, pretty good.
Yeah, similar points. I liked the concept. I noted down the concept, and that maybe it was slightly different to some of the other ones. But I liked how you sort of set the tone for this. I felt the opening section was perhaps a little too long and could have been developed. I think lots of these in this piece, as I remember, was that sections were good, but I felt they kind of needed to develop as they progressed. The change comes around 1 minute. I felt it could have been sooner. I liked the drama from after the change, and I felt overall it was quite convincing. I think around 150 the voice gets overpowered, and Bryan mentioned it before about the brass as well coming in, and it sort of takes over. I liked the end piece, and I liked the sort of title piece, but again I thought perhaps it just needed to develop as it sort of progressed. It sort of stayed the same, but there was definitely a sort of overall of some real craft with this piece. I noted down maybe the Q-tube dialogue at the end could have been free just to create a bit more of a structure overall, but overall it was a nice piece, so well done.
Great.
Yes, very much what Bryan and Stefan just said. But for me, also very good is that the very top first frame was documented, and that's very good. I think overall for me this was quite romantic, and certainly a different take on Bond. And I thought when the driving rhythm came in, I thought that was very good. It was actually a nice change to the quite romantic opening, which I as Stefan said, perhaps went on just a little bit too long, but it was very nice. The end titles, I think was a little too dreamy's the wrong word, a little too romantic. I think Bond, even his romantic moments in Bond, you can be romantic, but it's quite a sassy, and if you'll forgive me, quite a sexy romantic. I think this is just a warm, gentle romantic. So for me, the solo violin also not particularly Bondy, but again, it was very nice composition. It just happened to be more on the romantic side, but I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Less romance, more sex. Let's go to number 6 before I get myself into trouble.
Here we go. Number 6.
I'm in. Sir, there's something wrong. It's not here.
What do you mean? That's impossible.
I'm afraid we've been played.
Beaumont, I'm sure of the information. Get out now.
Way ahead of you. The disc is probably halfway to South America by now anyway.
Don't let it out of your sight.
Okay. So number 6, I thought this is really interesting. This was a little bit different from the others as well. When I first listened to this, I thought it had a kind of 70s TV drama vibe to the music, which isn't a criticism, by the way. I mean, that's a compliment. Just had a really fresh sound. There were a few bits which didn't quite make it. When the guy says "get out now," that actually clashed with what was actually a really good chord change. But unfortunately, it was coming at the same time as the Get Out Now. So the two kind of cancelled each other out. You got to be so careful when you're dreaming up these great chord sequences that they don't get basically, eaten alive by the dialogue. Around 45 seconds, there was a nice oboe. I don't think we heard it then, but there was a nice oboe on this. Possibly a nice idea, but a missed opportunity to maybe use it more convincingly. With instruments like oboes and stuff like that, you have to be very, very careful. These instruments have got hundreds of years of baggage, historical baggage, and you really have to write for the instrument, really. Some nice changes, a few that were maybe not as convincing, and a few difficulties in consistency in places. Some nice chords and some really nice ideas, but I would suggest that the main problem was stringing the ideas together into a kind of coherent kind of narrative, if you like, into a coherent piece of music. Okay, so there's two challenges here. There's writing a load of great music, and there's also then doing the architecture needed to actually present them well together. The final credit cue was interesting, evocative, but possibly again not quite hitting the spot. But again, generally speaking, well done.
What sort of drew me to this was a little bit was that, as Bryan's mentioned it, was that it felt like it was a different take on it. You weren't afraid to sort of not stick to the formula in a way and try your own idea, which I'm always, I think that's a really good thing. I mean, whether the debate is whether it works as a Bond piece is a sort of different debate, but I did like that we're willing to sort of try something different. And Bryan mentioned about TV shows. I'd sort of noted down about it was not that it sounded like it, was to remind me a little bit of when Bernard Herrmann did Taxi Driver. Actually, that's what I noted down. But in general, I thought there's some nice ideas, there's some nice textures that fit around the voiceover. I thought the music sort of potentially got in the way around the voiceover around 125. Perhaps the mix could sort this out as the drama kicks in, you up the dynamics, and there's some really good punctuation around 155. But the start of the title sequence was really well done. And overall, I thought, as Bryan mentioned it about sort of constructing it as a sort of more consistent piece, that maybe it was a little bit broken up in places, but I do like the idea that you tried something different. So on that level, well done, good stuff.
Yes, I agree about trying something different. I think it was a good way to go. Nice orchestration, I have to say, in the sections that you presented. Nice samples. And especially in the end titles, very, very nicely done. Some moments most moments were very well marked. I have to say that oboe, as Bryan mentioned, is got quite a lot of baggage with it, and it's probably not again synonymous with Bond in a solo oboe. Maybe in a sensitive romantic scene, just for slightly used. But as I say, oboe is not usually associated with Bond. But having said that, I really enjoyed it. There's some very nicely marked moments and very nice orchestration. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. Stefan, we're getting there, aren't we? Number
7.
7.
Here we go. Okay, here we go.
We're in position, sir. Ready to proceed.
Freebird is in position, sir. Ready to go.
What about Beaumont? He's bloody late.
We picked him up last night, sir. We put him on the red eye from Rio. He's just landed, sir. He's heading straight to the villa. Should be there in half an hour.
Okay, I thought this was really good. I mean, right at the beginning, you had some really great, what I call surreptitious music, that real great emotional feeling of kind of slight dread, which is so symptomatic of the Bond thing. Tremolo, nice use of tremolo strings, and again, the great use of, I think it was the E minor going to the C, going to the A7. Really nice underscore. There were loads of brilliant, really lovely underscoring moments in this piece. There was a great reoccurring string line that you had that was absolutely just so convincing. It reminded me a little bit of the kind of late 60s, early 70s Bond movie themes, the kind of classic John Barry thing. Just really soaring melody, absolutely beautiful. And some lovely textured strings playing it as well. Nice use of French horns and some really nice modulations. Just really, 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 really top pro work. Well done.
Yeah, similar points. I noted down mainly that classic Bond. Really, I think that was the thing, and very much I was getting the kind of Sean Connery vibes of watching this, and also what I liked was the detail, because I mean, drums have been a bit of a theme for me tonight, and there was some here, but what you went for was brushes this time, and I thought that was a nice little touch in terms of detail. As the piece picked up though with that, and if you've got cymbal crashes and all that stuff which it made me think, actually, did you need drums at all? that was the only thing I thought. I mean, I thought the brush thing, having that was good, but as it takes off, just me personally, but I thought you really, you punctuated it really, really well. And I think you were tipping your hands to the Bond thing right from the start, and pulled it off really nicely. So well done. Some lovely ideas in that.
Yes, I would agree with everything that's been said. I thought the use of samples was very good. The orchestration was also very good. I'm hearing the end titles as an example, a lovely theme. And as Bryan said, it immediately evoked the John Barry technique of having a melody line, and also just as importantly, a counter line which takes you through and supports the melody line. I think that was very well done. I really loved the use of the trumpets in that section, and I also thought that the drums were very nicely mixed, and a nice idea about the brush. And I thought it was very good right through to the end. You had the exact right approach for this end titles. It was just really good, and thank you for that.
Excellent.
Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Two more.
Okay.
Three more.
Three more.
Yeah.
So number 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Smithers is going in. He should be able to keep them occupied, but make it quick. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Freebird. See you for cocktails in London.
Signor piacere di conoscerla. Grazie di essere.
I'm in.
Okay. Again, I thought this was really good. Number 8. Just to start at the beginning, there was the bit where the guy says Smithers is going in, or I think Smithers is going in, and unfortunately that clashed with some kind of stabby brass phrasing you've got going on. The brass phrasing alone is actually not bad, but of course it was existing over the guy talking, or at least part of it was, which was a shame. By contrast, there's some parts in this piece where you had a really gorgeous and really believable trumpet sound. Just had a really bright vibrato on it. So I don't know where you got that from, or whether you're playing it or what, but that was really convincing. Around 25 seconds, and I don't think we heard this, but around 25 seconds, the chord was actually really long. It went on for quite a long time, probably too long. Finally, it evolved and it grew, and it becomes a kind of fearful version of Bond, which was quite nice. Nice horn line around 49 seconds. There was, unfortunately, a bit of a harmonic clash, I think around 58 seconds. I don't think it was deliberate. I don't think it was the kind of dissonance which is deliberate, which is a bit of a shame. And the drums, I think the drums unfortunately got in the way quite regularly on this. A nice drum pattern, actually. I mean, nice feel, but I just think it was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, 145. Again, it was a little, but that's 1 minute and 45 seconds. It was a little bit too busy over the dialogue, and again, too much drums. Nice end credits piece, and a lovely, really rich piano, and very real sounding trumpet. I'm very impressed with the writing of that instrument. Very nice use of instruments. I think the surrounding orchestration and harmonies occasionally left a little bit. You just slightly missed the mark, which is a shame. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, similar points. There was much about this that I really liked, actually, and I think it was the percussion again. I thought it was distracting in places. I think it felt a little bit too busy, and not only when it's busy, but I felt the sound of it. So there's two things, the busyness and the production. So there's two elements that are potentially distracting, particularly fitting stuff around voiceover. Having said that, I think the title sequence bit with the filtered drums, I thought you really made use of the production there, and it also, this is what's been good about going through all these, is there's we mentioned earlier the John Barry stuff. I think the sort of 90s Bond with that drum sound, it was at the propeller heads, I think, that did, and it was you touched on that idea, which I thought, so that was a really nice sort of concept that you sort of produced around it. I thought it had loads of energy, actually, this piece, and there was a real sort of nice tone to it, but just be sort of careful working around voiceover and general dialogue, especially if you're really keen on using percussion, that it's not getting in the way. But some nice stuff, so well done.
Yes, I also thought the trumpet sound was really good, and I thought the spy feeling was also good. That led nicely to the Get Out Now moment. I will say I thought the low C sharp on the violas at the opening was, for me, perhaps you could have moved to the C when you actually did, maybe 4 bars earlier. It's got to, I kind of thought, it's quite long, this, and that immediately took me away from what you were saying musically, but that's just my take on it. The end titles were good, but the only thing I would say, I thought the second section was even better than the first section, and it had more movement, had more Bond-esque feel, and I think that should have immediately come onto the bullseye, and then you could have developed that. But I mean, overall, very good spy, tragic feel. It was great. Enjoyed it.
Lovely. Thanks a lot. Stefan?
Hey, finalist number 9.
Number 9.
Go.
Beaumont, I'm sure of the information. Get out now.
Way ahead of you. The disc is probably halfway to South America by now anyway.
Don't let it out of your sight.
What about Smithers, Freebird? Any word?
Nothing yet. Still trying.
I'm afraid he didn't make it, sir.
Okay, yeah, I thought that, again, this was really good. I was a bit confused because I don't think the scoring started till 22 seconds, which I couldn't quite figure out. Obviously, there's probably a reason why the composer did that, but I think there was an opportunity missed at the beginning there. Classic Bond chords, the kind of D minor going to the B flat over the D, then etc. etc. Then it's really nice transition to the G chord, which works really, really well. The D minor to the G chord being the sci-fi sequence we spoke about earlier. I think that comes when the plane lands, and that is a really nice touch, just having that really kind of thing, almost as if the music is kind of breathing out. Nice use of trombones and tuba, and then I think it reverts back to the F minor Bond chord trick, and I think that was a really great modulation. The horn line at 119 was nice again, similar thing. I thought the song at the end was really good. It had a classic Adele feel to it. The theme was beautiful, and I think this falls into the category of one of the other composers, that there were some absolutely spellbinding ideas, but what it lacked was the architecture to actually bring them all together into a kind of coherent form. And that is always a hard thing to do for a composer. I mean, in many respects, ideas are quite easy to come up with, but it's stringing them together into a 2 or 3 minute believable kind of narrative, and I think that's where it slightly lost the plot. But very good. I mean, there were some lovely moments in that. Really well done.
Yeah, similar points really. I thought it was very nicely constructed. With it kept its attachment to the classic Bond actually right from the start. So I thought it was really convincing on that level. I thought the textures that you created sat really nicely with the images, felt very natural. The punctuation, some of the punctuation was good around 145, and it was good to sort of see you do it. Maybe you had whilst it was very Bond, I felt there was moments where you were trying to make it very much your own. I like the way you started title sequence with just the piano, and then it sort of progressed through. Perhaps again, I think Bryan sort of mentioned it. I think things didn't quite sit as right the way through as like one piece transitioned into another, but I felt there was some real skill with this piece actually, and maybe the production of the samples in places could have been developed to it, but some real good sort of film music composing skills here, so well done.
Yes, I would absolutely agree with that. There was some wonderful orchestrational moments and themes and moments, nicely marked moments, I have to say, especially the MI5 headquarters, London, is good, and also with good propulsion to get to that moment. The end titles, really, really lovely. But for me, I felt that they could have moved a little more. The answer phrase held too long, perhaps, on that sustained note. It just could have moved sooner. But that's the only thing. I mean, it was just, I very much enjoyed it. Yes, it was lovely. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you. And our final finalist before we announce the winner, Stefan.
Yeah, there we go. Finalist. Sorry, let's. Oh, okay, here we go.
Freebird is in position, sir, ready to go.
What about Beaumont? He's bloody late.
We picked him up last night, sir. We put him on the red eye from Rio. He's just landed, sir. He's heading straight to the villa. Should be there in half an hour.
Very well. Carry on.
Freebird.
It's a green light.
Okay, I thought this was really good. That melody, that's just absolutely beautiful melody. And there's some nice harmonies, some lovely chords using this. You had around about 30 seconds, you had the classic minor chord with the major seventh, really, really typical Bond stuff. But what I liked about the beginning is we could hear all the dialogue. You were writing in a way where you could hear the dialogue and you could hear the music, and they coexisted together really well. There were kind of no intrusive melodies at that point. The piano then comes in when there's little dialogue going on, comes in with this absolutely gorgeous piano line. You also used, again, the sci-fi chord change. In this case, it was E minor to A. Really good, refreshing kind of harmonic structures there. Nice textures, nice orchestration. There was I think 128, there was a really nice discordant rush. And I mean discordant in a good way. Discordant rush. I think that when the drums came in, that was a shame. When the drums came in, they sounded a little bit MIDI. It sounded like one of these auto fills that you might press on a keyboard. And that was a real shame, because that little one moment was a shame, but the rest of the music in this was excellent. 152, sudden stop, which is really good. Then the quiet piano comes in again. At around 217, you had the E minor going to C major 7, then the E minor 6, which is again classic John Barry Bond stuff. Gorgeous harmonies. Yeah, really well done.
Yeah, similar points. I thought it's another really good piece. I loved the musical tension there was at the start, and you created a real tone right from the sort of get-go. And I thought the sort of dramatic tension as it sort of moved through the clip also, I thought you sort of hit quite well. And like the exit points, I thought a lot of it was really well judged in terms of punctuation. I thought the title sequence was really nicely done. I thought it was really interesting piece. It sort of tipped its hat to the original Bond, as well as bringing out some of your own ideas as well. I mean, Bryan pointed it out. For me, it was the drums. I think I've mentioned drums a lot, but in this case as well, if you're going to use drum fills, if you think, this has got to start with there's a moment where there's a drum fill, you've got to definitely have the right sort of snare sound to be able to pull that off. So I thought it was a shame, because some of the other elements of the production were really good, but the drums just sort of drew to the attention that you were using samples. But there's no doubt about your writing skills here, and also your film writing skills about how you punctuate it. So well done, nice piece.
I think, just really quickly, Steph, sorry to interrupt. The bit where that drum fill came, I think the composer was trying to emulate the Adele song when the drums kick in, because there's an absolutely fabulous drum fill on the Adele song, which is done by like a world-class drummer on a real drum kit. And I just think that if you're going to try and emulate that, it's a bit dodgy, Yeah.
Sorry. No. I think if you're going to use drum, if you think this piece has to have a drum fill, it's got to be just convincing. But a really nice piece, though. Well done.
Yes, I would totally agree with everything Bryan and Stefan have said. Nicely orchestrated, some really nice moments and chord sequences, and very good leading up to Beaumont. He's Bloody Late. I thought that was good. Nice change of pace at 107. The end titles, taking away the drums, which perhaps should have been taken away. I would have preferred, for me, as soon as the drums started, it elevated, or the drum fill perhaps was a little too MIDI and electronic. For me, that should have started off when we get to the bullseye, and you should have used the theme you started with throughout that sequence. But I thought it was really lovely, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you so much. Well, without further ado, Stefan, I think we can cue up our announcement of our winner from those 10 fantastic finalists. And can I just say that, I enjoyed all of the entries tremendously, and to get to this point was really difficult for all of us. And I hope that everyone that's taken part feels that they In a sense, one, because you've got, something great for your portfolio, you've got experience that you hadn't had before, and you've got the opportunity to listen to this feedback and listen to all of the other entries as well and learn from that. So I think taking part is already a win. So, but I would say that, I suppose. So Stefan, shall we cue out?
Absolutely, yeah. No, well done to everyone.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, here we go. You should all be able to see that now.
Yeah.
Right, here we go.
Freebird, come in, Freebird. Confirm your position.
We're in position, sir. Ready to proceed.
Freebird is in position, sir. Ready to go.
What about Beaumont? He's bloody late.
We picked him up last night, sir. We put him on the red eye from Rio. He's just landed, sir. He's heading straight to the villa. Should be there in half an hour.
Very well. Carry on.
Freebird, it's a green light.
Thank you, Control. Beaumont, we're on. Smithers is going in. He should be able to keep them occupied, but make it quick. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Freebird. See you for cocktails in London.
Signor Smith, piacere di conoscerla. Grazie di essere venuto.
I'm in. Sir, there's something wrong. It's not here.
What do you mean? That's impossible.
I'm afraid we've been played.
Beaumont, I'm sure of the information. Get out now.
Way ahead of you. The disc is probably halfway to South America by now anyway.
Don't let it out of your sight.
What about Smithers, Freebird? Any word?
Nothing yet. Still trying.
I'm afraid he didn't make it, sir.
Ah, come in, Beaumont. We've got a busy day ahead. We think an organization called the Q-Tube might have orchestrated the whole operation.
The Q-Tube. I overheard Drax talking about them in the casino. Yes, that adds up.
Hi, I'm David Tregonning. I'm here because I was amazingly runner-up in the Q-Tube competition for score relief. 2024, and I am lucky enough to have 2 pieces that I've written, hopefully 2 pieces if we have time, arranged for string quartets. As well, I've never been in Stoller Hall before, but in terms of just like a room for recording in, it sounds incredible. And also, I mean, what was it, a 32-piece orchestra thing? Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a full symphonic orchestra. It's great. It sounds incredible. Yeah, like it sounds like a much bigger sort of string section than there is, and yeah, it's very cool.
Right. You see yourself sort of going for a session like that?
I would love to. It would be an absolute dream to have my music played by an orchestra.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Stefan.
Well
thank
done.
you.
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
So,
And Dave, it's with us, is he?
He's joining us live from London.
Hello, David. Where are you in London? Which
You're
part?
muted. You're muted, David. David, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. Which part are you from London? Are you?
I'm actually in Kent.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I was in London. I've literally just stepped off a train. I was watching this whole live stream on the train.
Oh, excellent.
I didn't understand, because I thought when I saw my name come up as the finalist, I just figured that there was like an additional winner beyond the finalists. So I was happy enough to have made the finalists. I didn't expect to be made the winner as well.
There you
Well
are.
done, David.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Yeah.
I don't have any words.
Your music speaks very eloquently for you.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Just the most thing I felt, David, is that I wasn't thinking, I was just enjoying it. And when that happens for me, then it's perfect. And that's what happens in good film music. You don't think about it. You just enjoy it. And so
Thank you. That's so great to hear.
I think Nicholas is spot on there. I mean, when I listened to this, I actually ended up playing it 4 times, because the first 2 times I was just forgot to start writing things down, and I'm thinking, hang on, because I was just seeing it as a regular Bond film, and it was just totally authentic and totally believable.
Yeah,
and just the way you wrote over the dialogue, that was quite a big problem for many people. And the way you delivered the music, and we could hear the music, and we could digest the emotion from those chord changes, but we could still hear the dialogue. Yeah. And that takes skill beyond musical skill. I think it takes somebody who reads a film properly.
Thank you.
Yeah, so well done, well done.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I noted down the same thing. I think what happens with film is that if it's meant to be there, then it's working, and that was it right from the start. It felt like it was meant to be there, and it was just right from the start to the end. We were in safe hands. That's what struck me from it. So really well done.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. It was fun to write as well. I think yeah, it is, and it's like when I kind of found that melody as well, because it took a little while. Like I was obviously playing around with the line cliche, and trying to find a nice little melody and a counter melody that kind of worked over it. And then, it was about 2 a.m. I think that I'd kind of cracked the melody, and then that kind of It
was a good 2 a.m.
It was a very good 2 a.m. It seems.
David, is this written down on paper, or is it just in the sample world?
It's just in the sample world. It's just in Logic, so it exists as a MIDI.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you should perhaps prepare the end titles for a real orchestra, because I think this is. I mean, the samples are very good, and they'll convince obviously everybody. But if you have it in orchestrated form, ready to go, then I think that's something, that's a card up your sleeve. You should definitely. An arrow you should definitely put in your quiver.
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent.
Very well.
Can I just ask really quickly, David? What is your musical background?
So I studied music technology at university. Although after university, I veered away from music a little bit. I went into film. So I actually work for a film company, film production company. So I've been a film editor for the last sort of 15 years or so. So yeah, I have a kind of inherent, I guess, kind of like film narrative kind of background in that respect. I do apologize. There is a train coming, so if I drop out, that's why. I'm still at the station. So yeah, that's kind of my background. And then I didn't really get back into like proper composing, not really until the pandemic, really. I think I didn't really have much free time to do it. So, and I think I'd lost a lot of confidence in my ability to write music because I hadn't done it for so long. And then I just released a couple of albums on Spotify, as you do, during lockdown. And it kind of bolstered, I had some good responses from it, and it kind of bolstered me a bit. And then, yeah, the QTube stuff. I mean, the fact that I came runner-up the last time around, sorry, beeping the doors. I mean, that was a shock in itself, because I think I'd entered one competition, really. I think I did one previous QTube competition before that. And I don't think I came anywhere in that, or maybe I did, but I don't remember. I wasn't a finalist or anything. Yeah, I'm rambling. Sorry.
No, it's great.
but essentially, that is my background. So I have a musical background, but it went to the wayside because of work and life. Yeah, it's only really been the last sort of like 3 or 4 years that it's kind of picked back up again.
What a great journey. I mean, working in film, you have as you say, an inherent feel for visual phrasing, which obviously you translate so well in music terms. So that right off the bat is a wonderful thing to have, and well used.
Thank you.
And I do mean, get that orchestrated. And
I've got Dorico. I'll get in there and notate it.
Well, yes, you should. I mean, it's really, really good. I mean, if ever there's an opportunity that I can offer you, sometimes, very rarely, I'm conducting a full symphony orchestra and we end early. And this maybe 20 minutes. And all I have to say, guys, there's this cue, end titles. Can you just play it for us? And then it's there. But that is a very, 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 very rare occurrence. But you have the manuscript prepared, and I know it's going to be a full orchestra, and I know it's going to be for a particular composer. I know the pace of the session, and I can move through things the way I do. And there has been certain times, 20 minutes where I say, okay, guys, that's fine, thank you. It's as I say, there have been times. And when that happens, normally the composer says, oh, I just have an idea, Nicholas, let's go to the piano. So I'm busy writing down. But David, please orchestrate it. And I'd love to have that in my manuscript library, just in case. I can't promise anything, but just in case.
That would be amazing. I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
Thank you. That's really lovely. And David, obviously, as before, we'll help you with the orchestration process if needed. So we'll get in touch privately and organise all that. But yeah, I mean, like from the QTube point of view, hi, don't forget about the QTube. I'm so thrilled because there's been this sort of narrative, this journey that you've been on with us, which is great. That's what we're all about, really. We're trying to help people go on a bit of a journey with their creative life. And I mean, to see you go from sort of not placing in a competition to placing as a runner-up and now finally to being a winner is just absolutely brilliant, So it's just for everyone else out there, it just shows the value and merit, I hope, of entering these competitions and not being downhearted, for goodness sake, when you don't get shortlisted. So,
well, I mean, I have to say a massive thank you to you, Bryan, and just for the QTube in general, because it's such a great tool for composers. Like that, there's not a lot out there like the QTube. Like the ability to download these clips and just practice scoring to picture. Like that doesn't come along very often. So thank you, Bryan, for that.
Bless you, David. Bless you.
You're welcome.
I'll see you soon. Hopefully, I'll be down in London, so hopefully we can catch up. But
I'd love to.
Yeah, likewise. And am I right in thinking that you kind of not rushed exactly, but you were under a bit of pressure to get this done before you went away on a holiday? Is that right?
It was, yeah. It was kind of the same as what happened with the last QTube one. So I think maybe I just worked really well under pressure. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was pushed for time, yeah, because I knew I had to get it. I was out of the country for a couple of weeks, and I literally arrived. We landed like 2 days before the deadline, I think, or something. So yeah, it was pretty much the first week of the competition. I wrote that, yeah.
Yeah, and I think
hence the 2 a.m.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think it was a similar story with Joseph, who won Score Relief last year, that he was also under some personal sort of deadline, and I think there's a message there as well, you know.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we talk about this quite a lot in uni. You know, we bring this up almost every lecture. This comes about, you know, stress being part of the deal. Stress being a real creative.
Well, it's another limitation in a way, isn't it? You can't overthink it, you know.
Yeah.
And no, it's
That's
fantastic.
a very good comment. You cannot overthink it. Once you do that, you go down roads, you look at it next day, think, what? And then you just scrub it all and start again.
Yeah.
So there you go, everyone. Just do your entries in a day and get them in.
No, don't. Don't.
All right. Well, I'm
stressful.
I'm conscious of everybody's time. You've been very generous, Nicholas, Bryan, and Stefan, as always. Thank you so much. Oh, we do have one more, a surprise announcement, actually. And this is another reason why you should always enter the QTube competitions, because we always throw in some extra surprises. So this time, it actually went down to a short list of 2 that we were trying to choose between, and so we've decided to add another prize for the person who ostensibly kind of came second, although I don't really want to rank those 10 finalists. Yeah, we've decided to throw another string quartet session in as a bonus prize. And I'm delighted to announce that that's awarded to Elise Van Wolf for her beautiful piece of music with her lovely song at the end, with her vocal and everything. So, Elise, if you're watching, get in touch and we'll organise that for you. But congratulations.
Lovely song.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can use that string quartet session. It's a 30-minute session for about 3 minutes of music that will result in for whatever you like. So it doesn't have to be your Vesper piece. It can be something else. But I would love to hear you get some real strings onto your song. That would be fantastic. Yeah. All right, Dave. We'll be in touch. Take care and get home safely.
Yeah. Well, home and done now. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the judges. Thank you.
I'm glad you were able to. I'm glad you were able to jump on like last minute onto the Zoom. That's great. All right. Take care, everyone. Well, thank you, Bryan, Nicholas, and Stefan again so much.
My pleasure. Well done, everyone. Well done, David.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed the process. I certainly enjoyed it, although, these things are always quite stressful. But yes, thanks everyone who took part, and stay tuned for the next thing, and good luck with your entries for the insects documentary if you're working on that at the moment. And join us next week for a review, hopefully, although this might change, but we're planning it for next Friday at the moment, a review of your Nosferatu scores, and choose the person who will receive the string quartet session. So that's a week today. So thanks everyone, have a great weekend, and
you.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Thank
see
you.
you soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you, Nicholas.